Welcome to the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast, brought to you by the Arkansas Cattlemen's Association. Here, we dive into the heart of Arkansas's cattle industry, where legislation, education, advocacy, and development come together to support the hardworking cattle producers of the natural state. Whether you're in the pasture or on the road, this is your connection to the people, policies, and programs shaping the future of our industry. Hello and welcome to the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast. I am your host, Michelle Buffkin-Horton.
And I'm your co-host, Norley Townsend.
And we have an exciting guest with us again this week, and we're going to dive in to her interview here after we give a few cattlemen's updates. But we do have our ACA summer intern with us, so if you will, you can introduce yourself as well. Just your name, let us know.
Hi, I'm Aubrey Phillips.
Perfect. Like I said, we're going to hop into Aubrey's update and get to know you with her after we provide you with a federal Hats on the Hill update.
A DC, Hats on the Hill.
Yeah,
DC. So welcome back to Hats on the Hill.
Yeah, I never promised to be done with these entirely. I just said we would be taking a big break from the state in the weekly one. So we will talk about the hat behind us. I will lean so you can see it.
That's Randy's hats of the day.
We do have a nice Randy hat of the day. So thank you, Mr. Randy Black, for providing that. Very grateful. I didn't even look at it. I don't know what it is. So I didn't either.
Straw hat.
Yeah, it's a straw hat. It's straw season. That's what it is.
I really don't know how to explain it.
It's a nice hat.
It just changes.
I like that hat. It's a nice hat.
It is a nice hat.
But yes, welcome to the Hats on the Hill portion of the podcast. So this week, the biggest conversation happening in DC, if you remember the last couple episodes when I have talked about legislation, it has all been about the big, beautiful bill, the one big, beautiful bill. And after 18 hours of deliberation yesterday, the House passed both
this morning.
Both of them. The House passed the one big beautiful bill, aka the reconciliation package. It was literally this morning. I saw Congressman Hill had posted that the Finance Committee, he's the chairman of the Finance Committee, he was testifying in front of the House from 1 a.m. until 4:30 a.m. this Thursday morning. As we're recording this Thursday afternoon, and so he was testifying Thursday morning. And so it was a very long night for the House side of things. As they got this bill done, President Trump has asked them to aim to get this done in total fashion by July 4th, which means now that it has passed the House, it will go to the Senate and going to have a lot of the same fights, a lot of the same conversations on the Senate side, and so we'll see what changes. We're not envisioning it's going to be a super quick movement there, but we'll have to go through the Senate and work on addressing it. So what is in there? What do we care about? Is the reconciliation package. What does that mean? It's a budget bill. It's the one big, beautiful bill that for President Trump, it was his one ask. It's a lot of the items that he campaigned on. And so for cattle producers, not necessarily all of these things, but there's a lot of tax programs within this bill that are really big wins. And then a couple of items that are getting addressed here within the one big, beautiful bill as opposed to a farm bill. Not that we will not have a farm bill, just that there is funding within this bill for some of these programs that are traditionally in the farm bill. They will still be discussed and debated there for the farm bill as well. So biggest thing for us, we've talked about it feels like 1,000 times, is going to be the death tax. If you don't remember, I've been saying that we are sunsetting this year, so the death tax is going to sunset from 13-ish million to 5 million if nothing changed. And so if you pass away, your estate is valued at more than $5 million by the end of this year. Your family would have to pay a 40% inheritance tax on that. And so as you know, in agriculture, land prices the way they are, cattle prices the way they are, it's not necessarily that hard to get to $5 million. So that is not conducive or sustainable for the agriculture industry. So that got increased. Within this bill, the suggestion is to increase that exemption to $15 million per individual and $30 million per couple. So that would be a big win for agriculture. While we still would love to see the full repeal of the death tax, we will take an exemption increase because we know that still protects our producers. There are quite a lot of small business, quote unquote, Section coverages there within the one big beautiful bill that could have some impact and some benefits for producers. One of the big things that may be beneficial is going to be your bonus depreciation. And so it reinstates the 100% bonus depreciation for 5 years with no phase out. And so that would be beneficial for producers. The other piece is that it permanently extends itemized deduction for personal casualty losses resulting from federally declared disasters. And so it's essentially an extension of the Federal Disaster Tax Relief Act of 2023, and so going to be very beneficial for Arkansas, especially as we continue, hopefully not, but continue to see storms and issues coming here and getting federal disaster declarations. This will permanently extends the deduction ability there. And so that's your tax side. That big win is going to be, again, the death tax. And then some of the other pieces that we're looking at is going to be, the one big beautiful bill is going to continue funding the feral swine eradication program. That's one thing that's been funded through the Farm Bill. Being able to fund it this way would just move it a little bit quicker since we do not have a farm bill yet. And then it is also going to bolster the three-legged stool that protects the cattle industry. So if you don't know, it's going to be the vaccine bank, it's going to be the National Animal Health Laboratory, and the National Animal Disease Preparedness and Response Program. And with New World Screwworm, which you've heard about a few episodes ago, this three-legged stool is more important than ever. And again, this is one that is traditionally funded through the Farm Bill, but being able to pull it out here and get it funded within the reconciliation package just continues to support and protect the agriculture industry regardless of when we get a Farm Bill. It's not an if. At this point, it's a when we get a Farm Bill. And so that's going to be all of those things are going to be very, very beneficial there for our producers. We're excited to see that bill have some movement. We were very grateful for the leadership of the committees that had the individual pieces of that bill that fought for it. And so we had natural resources with Congresswoman Westerman playing a very big role there. And then along with the Finance Committee and the House Ways and Means Committee. And so we've got quite a few of our federal delegation in committee chair positions, and so fighting for Arkansans, but also for all Americans with this bill. So we're excited to see some movement. We'll keep you updated as it goes through the next stages. Next piece, it'll go through Senate committees, and so they will be spending quite a bit of time debating and discussing, and then go to the Senate floor and see. We'll see what changes and what stays, and so we'll keep you all updated. But that's your federal Hats on the Hill update.
What's going on?
A lot, but not a lot. I feel like we finally have movement on it, so it's great. And as y'all know, we've been waiting on the reconciliation package before anything else can really get done in D.C. We have the Senate still confirming appointees, but we don't necessarily have a lot of other bill progress because of the reconciliation package. It's taken a lot of the time and the priority there, as it should. And so we're waiting at the Farm Bill, especially waiting until you can get that reconciliation package done before they start working on it. So this is just one step closer to finishing that package, and then also one step closer to hopefully getting a Farm Bill moving again. And so with that, that's your final Hats on the Hill update of this week. I'm sure we'll have another one here soon, but I don't expect we'll have a big update next week. DC moves a good bit slower than Little Rock, and so it'll probably be a couple of episodes before you hear another big update on this bill, and so we'll keep you all updated. So
yeah,
thank you. All
now
right,
to a big part of our episode.
Yeah, now for our interview.
So,
which we're excited about.
Welcome, Aubrey. This week's your first week, and we've hit you full force, so sorry about that. Yeah. She started Monday, and then on Tuesday we started our second session of ACLC, and we just ended today. Today is Thursday, so full week of it. So,
and tomorrow we're going to cook burgers for the Department of Agriculture for the May Beef Month cookout.
Yep.
So she hit the ground running.
Yeah,
for sure. So if you can introduce yourself, let us know. Obviously, you've already shared your name, but share where you're from and where you're going to school and what you're studying.
So I am from Westville, Oklahoma, and I will be a senior in the fall at the University of Arkansas. I'm majoring in agricultural communications with minors in ag business and ag leadership.
Perfect. And so Westville, Oklahoma being how far from the U of A?
It's like 45 minutes with no traffic.
Yeah. It's okay. I just always like to remind people, like, you're close.
Yeah.
You're close to the Arkansas border there.
It's actually referred to as the furthest east town in Oklahoma, even though it's called Westville.
Yeah, of course, we're not confusing at all.
Right,
Let's make it easy for everyone. So, well, we're glad you're here. So we're excited that you've joined us this summer. So
Yeah. So can you give us a little background? Like, I know you grew up in ag, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I was raised on my grandparents' black registered Angus operation right there in Westville, Oklahoma. It's played a huge part into building me into the person I am today because I learned that hard work and what it takes day in and day out to take care of those cattle.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. In high school, were you involved in any 4-H, FFA, anything?
Yes, I was heavily involved in FFA. I judged poultry. I was on...
We won't hold that against you. It's fine.
I was just kind of... We were...
I am teasing.
Well, my ag advisor always voluntold us to do stuff.
That's fair.
So...
They're usually pretty good at that.
Yeah, but
very.
the team I was on actually won state that year, and then I was also on the Parley Pro team, and we won state that year, and we went to nationals. So I competed at nationals and Parley Pro that year, but our poultry team actually won nationals, and our Parley Pro team did not. So
Congratulations.
Can't give you that hard of a time, I guess, about the poultry judging.
And you said you were a national officer?
No, I was a state officer with FCCLA, so, and I also showed cattle in FFA, but
yeah,
I was a 2-time FCCLA state officer, and I was actually state president, so I was busy. I was gone all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, are you involved in any clubs, organizations there at the U of A?
I am a part of Collegiate FFA, and then I'm also a department rep for ACT.
Nice. Perfect. What led you to pursue an internship with the Cattlemens?
Well, with my background and just everything, I feel like it was a given. And when I heard about this opportunity, I knew I needed to take it, and hopefully it would lead to what I want to do one day. And I'm really big on like storytelling and like getting like the actual story out efficiently and effectively. And I just really wanted to grow a deeper understanding of the industry, and I know I'm going to end up in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm not going to be in Okie the rest of my life, so I just thought this was the perfect opportunity.
Northwest Arkansas has a way of
pulling you in.
Yeah, pulling you in. Like, once it feels like I'm probably one of the few that moved up there and then left. And so usually you move up there and you don't really leave again, or you try to come back. And so
yeah,
it's a nice place for sure. Well, we're glad you're here, and we're glad your professors and your mentors for encouraging you to take this internship for sure. We're excited to have you. We've got a lot of projects you're going to work on this summer, and so we're excited to have you on the team.
Yep. So just a little fun question. What is your favorite beef dish?
I am a big steak girl, but I love a good filet. Filet all day, every day.
Yeah.
Feel ya.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and you may not know this one. It's okay. You said you didn't. How do you relax after a long day?
It's hard to really, like...
Turn your brain off?
Yeah.
Same.
But, like...
I understand that.
Well, when I'm home and I'm in Westville, like, I'll go on walks, like, up and down the road, because it's, like, my house, my grandparents, so I just walk it, or I go in the field. But I really haven't found a way to unwind up here, but I also haven't had time.
That's true.
You haven't been home.
Not even been here a week.
Like, I think you've slept at your apartment, like, 2 days this week or something.
And I'm only there for, like, maybe 7 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we can talk about that a little bit. So what stood out to you the most so far about your 4 days here at the Cattlemen?
Well, it's definitely been crazy. But I think just really, like, seeing how knowledgeable, like, everyone is and how, like, dedicated y'all are to the association and to beef producers in the state of Arkansas.
Yep, perfect. Love that. Glad to hear it. What's one thing you're wanting to accomplish or learn this year?
I really just...
Summer.
wanting to have like a deeper understanding myself and just really work on like my communication skills and really pushing out the work that will have a positive effect on the industry.
We'll give you plenty of opportunities.
Yes.
To write things, to do things. It's going to be great. It's one of my favorite things about our internship is that we don't, it's more than just, oh, hey, like, make some coffee, make some copies, answer the phone. While you will be answering the phone, we also wholeheartedly just hand things over and say, this is yours, own it, enjoy it, figure it out. And so it really gives you an opportunity to, hopefully, to learn and grow. So.
Yep.
What else? What else you got for her before we hop into ACLC? I have a question for you about it, but I'll let you go first.
Oh, and you've had the chance to meet some ACA members and an event. So what did you think about that?
I thought it was a great opportunity, not only for me to experience, but for them, because, I don't know, I just feel like it hit a lot of the aspects. And of course, ACLC is a continuous thing, and I'm only here for a short part of it, but the members are great, and I feel like they're just as dedicated as you two are.
I feel like they roped you in pretty good.
Yeah, they broke you in pretty good.
They're very welcoming is what we'll say. Very personable.
I couldn't believe it was my second day.
Yeah, sometimes I question that decision. But it's okay. We've done it for a few years. Actually, we've done it for a while, and it's, so far we haven't scared anyone off. So hopefully that'll stay the case. But I'm excited. So for Nora Lee, more so than Aubrey, what are some of the projects that Aubrey's going to be working on this summer? She doesn't necessarily know because, like she said, it was literally her second day before. She was in office Monday, and then we're like, okay, hi, like sign into your computer and get your email set up, and then we're going to get ready to do ACLC. So she hasn't been back in the office since then. And so we haven't necessarily had a chance to sit down and say, here's everything that we're going to be working on. So what are some of the things that you're hoping Aubrey's going to work on this summer?
I mean, we mentioned it to her. We're just not like, hey, this is what you did. Like, oh, okay.
I don't want to put her on the spot yet. I'll put you on the spot. You've been here a year.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes it easy.
One of my biggest goals is to create a new website. I know our website is kind of outdated. So being at AdComs, I think she's interested in the website. So hopefully get a new website at the end of the summer. There's one kind of already made, just making some tweaks to that. And then making some more resources for our counties, maybe making some logos for them with our logo and then their name underneath it. Some graphic design stuff, and then maybe some writing stuff and social media posts. So she helped me a lot with that this week, taking pictures. She didn't mention it, but she likes to, she's a photographer. So,
yes.
yeah. So helped me a lot this week. So some of the pictures you're going to see on social media are hers. So
yeah, and we're going to see which one of y'all fought for the cover photo for the June issue of the magazine. Yep. So we'll find out. I guess we can look at that in here in a couple of weeks, and we'll know. So, no, I think we're really excited. I love being able to have, there's always big picture, big dreams, goals that I have. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love if we could have a county calendar of events. If we could say, hey, here's a calendar of events for the ACA, including county meetings, including field days, lunch and learns, whatever it might be. But it's not the easiest thing to integrate into our website. And so trying to find out how to do that is not necessarily the top of my priority list or the top of Nora Lee's priority list. And so having a whole nother human here to help us makes it where we can focus on those things that we want to provide to members, but aren't necessarily addressing the bottom line for the Cattlemen. And so we're trying to find that balance there. And so I think there's going to be quite a few things you're going to see coming through for counties that we're able to provide and resources that we're able to provide that we weren't able to one person less. And so we're excited about it. So we're hoping you'll see quite a few things come in from her very soon. I mean, like next week, once we can actually be in the office more than 2 days.
Yep.
So perfect. All right. ACLC, now we'll do everyone. We can all communicate. For ACLC, so we just finished up our Arkansas Cattlemen's Leadership course, session number 2. So this is their farm tour session. We went into the Morrilton, Russellville, Dover area. So had a couple of different stops along the way. Went to a commercial operation there in Morrilton that has quite a few head of cattle, does his own beef, sells to the school systems, and so a really unique operation there. And then went to Big D Ranch in Center Ridge, and so got to see a registered Brangus operation and have dinner with him and Neogen sponsoring that one. And then next day we woke up, went to Dr. Shirtliff's clinic in Morrilton Veterinary Clinic, and so got to see his state-of-the-art facilities and the work that he does for large animal producers all across the state. And went on to Farm Credit, got to see their brand new headquarters in Russellville, and so really exciting, really beautiful. Ate lunch with them and learned about the Farm Credit system, and went on to Dover to Terraced Acres Ranch and got to visit with Dustin Tackett and his family about their registered Angus operation and some of the more innovative approaches they're taking. Came back and we ended in Little Rock at Topgolf that evening. Had a lot of time in networking, interacting with the class members between themselves, along with our sponsors for the evening, Boehringer Ingelheim, and the preferred animal products, and so preferred livestock products. And so we were able to visit with them along with the class members there. And then this morning, Thursday morning, they wrapped up at the Department of Agriculture. Got to hear from Secretary Ward and Livestock and Poultry Director Fisk and then his team, and kind of see what the department does and the resources they offer to producers all across the state. So it was a jam-packed week. We had 20 participants here with us, and so they were going nonstop, 3 days, 2 nights. I would say all over the state, but really we didn't go that far. We got a lot done and not a lot of miles. So that's our recap for it. So what were your impressions of the program versus for you as the first time you ever interacted with it, for you as the second year as a staff person? So what were your thoughts? And y'all can pick. I don't care who goes first.
You go ahead.
Nose goes over here, I feel like.
Well, like I already kind of said, I think that, like, it was a great opportunity, not just for me, but for them, because they are all producers themselves, but getting to expand and see, like, the different operations, the different people who do different things, and there's a lot of different opinions on how to produce your cattle, and I think it's just a great opportunity to give them a broad range of producers and give them the experience with what other people are doing.
Yeah. So this is my third ACLC session that I've got to see. I've seen one as my intern year, and then 2 as a staffer, and I just enjoy seeing the diversity in Arkansas. Each farm is different. We've seen a big farm, we've seen a smaller farm, we've seen a registered operation. All of them are different, but they're kind of the same at the same time. So I really like that about it, and then the networking at the end of the night. It's been a long day, y'all. There's a lot of conversations going on, and they're really interesting between the ACLC people and how the difference between producing your own cattle and, hey, they use this product that I'd like to use. Talk to me more about it. So I like that aspect of it. There's always something new to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think for sure the diversity piece this year was a very interesting part of it, because as a lot of the ACLC participants said, was we got to see a lot of different aspects. While they all raise cattle, that eventually becomes beef, whether shortly or long after they raise it, but they all had a slightly or very different way of going about it. And so it was interesting to see that kind of click for the ACLC members of, like, oh, hey, maybe the way I've always done it is not the way it should be done, or maybe there's another way for it. And so you saw a lot of people that were like, oh, hey, like, can I have that guy's number? Like, can I follow up with him? Can I do this? And so they were really invested and really interested in the diversity side of it.
And then, we got to talk with Farm Credit and a vet, and so that was a different aspect you got to look into it. And they talked about, the New World screwworm and how that's, and the tularemia with the longhorn tick and different things like that. So lots of different conversations going on. It's really interesting.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, was there a particular stop, speaker, or operation that stood out to you?
I'm gonna let Aubrey answer that one first too. Sorry.
No nose goes on this.
No nose goes.
I'd probably say the Terraced Acres Ranch, because they're bringing in the new technology to track their heat cycles, and I just think it's really unique, and it's gonna take production in a whole nother step.
Yeah, so they're working with Premier Select Sires to use Cow Manager, and so it's a piece of an ear tag that hangs off a regular ear tag that tracks heat cycles, it tracks rumination, it tracks all kinds of things. And so a lot of times in the dairy world, this gets used pretty heavily. And so even the Premier Select Sires rep was like, yeah, like I think Dustin's one of the first few to kind of try this in the beef world. And so it was interesting to see his perspective of what it could do for the industry. And there were a lot of people that were like, we had no clue this existed. We would absolutely love to keep this in mind, because it can definitely, while there's an investment cost up front, it can help save money down the road on missed cycles or missed breedings for sure. And so that was the reason he was using it, was for his AI program. So, yeah, it's hard for me to always pick a person because they are all members, and I don't ever like to pick one over the other. But I'm always going to have a soft spot in my heart for Dr. Cy Shurtleff. He is, I grew up, I wanted to be a vet my entire life. And so up until the time I was like halfway through college, I thought I was going to be a veterinarian. And so there's always this little piece of me that's like, that could have been me. And I'm like, no, that could not have been me. Biochemistry and Chem 2, like, made sure of that. And so that was not going to be me. But it's just always this nostalgic version of me of like, oh yeah, I remember like when I worked at a vet clinic and this is it. And to see the differences of a veterinarian, while the vet I worked for appreciated the ag industry, was not, they were a small animal. That was all they did. To see Cy's dedication to large animals and to see his dedication to producers. He attends numerous county cattlemen's meetings and does education and is always willing to answer people's questions and phone calls and to help producers out. And so there's always going to be a little soft spot for me there. He won our producer educator of the year award a couple of years ago from the Cattlemen's, and it's just always eye-opening and exciting and, I don't know, like inspiring to see like, oh, there are veterinarians. You always hear so much about the large animal veterinary shortage in the state, and while that is incredibly true, there are outstanding veterinarians here in the state that are working endlessly, it feels like, to serve the producers that we have. And so we're going to take the time and appreciate the good ones out there. So, but they were all amazing. They're all wonderful. The committee did a great job setting up a good tour this year. Yep. So, what was your favorite stop?
I liked Warman Farms.
Yeah,
they have a really neat place. They live on a river bottom. So they talked about a lot of their flooding problems that they've had to overcome, and the diversity they have. They grow their own crops. They grow their own silage. They have a little bit of everything. So that was really interesting to see.
Yeah, that one was a really interesting one. And their oldest son, it was in our ACLC class a few years ago. It was like 2019, because it was the Arkansas River flood of 2019. And this class, in that year, he called and was like, hey, the river's flooding. Like, the Army Corps of Engineers called. They said the levees are going to fail. Like, we need to move all of our cattle, all of our equipment, everything. And so I remember getting that call in 2019, and then to be standing in the place and his dad, John, saying like, oh yeah, like this is all underwater. It took probably about 5 months for everything to come back. It was very eye-opening. Be like, oh yeah. Like, I knew it was real life, but to be able to be there and stand there and be like, oh yeah, this is what he was calling about.
Yeah, and another cool thing it is I haven't really heard about is raising beef for their local schools and those kids eating it in those local schools. And I didn't know really that was an option, but he's doing it. So
Yep. And so that's all taken right now. Working, we are working with the federal administration to get the grants funded again for those programs. As you probably know, all the freezes that happened with the new administration, they said let's freeze first and investigate and then reopen. And so they're slowly but surely opening grants and funding back up. And so we are hoping that local food program grant will be able to open back up. And so they'll be able to see students eating local beef once again.
Yeah.
So how do you think tours like this help young leaders, help cattle producers understand Arkansas's cattle industry better? We'll start with you. I'll give Aubrey a break.
I guess people see that those producers are just like them. We're all in the same boat. I know people. I mean, some are larger, some are smaller, and there's a place for everybody in the cattle industry, basically. So that's what I see. Like, every single time, there's something new, all the time. Like I just mentioned, like, I didn't know that was an option. So like there's there's never endless options and opportunities and things.
Yeah, it takes all kinds of kinds.
Yep.
Aubrey. Miss Phillips, as they say.
Don't start that again.
Lots of time in the van.
Too much.
Yeah, a lot of time in the van.
Well, kind of going off like what you said, I just really think that like whether you have a small operation or large operation, whether it's your full-time job, your part-time job, every single production and every single farm, every single ranch is vital to keep the industry going.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I think it validates people sometimes to be able to see producers of different sizes making a go of it, because yes, while we can all dream to be somebody that has 5,000 acres and raise cattle, like it's not necessarily the case for all of us. And so being able to see somebody that has 100 cows and a couple hundred acres, like it makes it where, okay, like both of these are successful in their own way and in their own right. And so it makes you feel better as a producer, like, oh, I don't have to have 1,000 cows to be no, you can be successful at whatever size you are. And so I think it really just opens their eyes, producers' eyes, to a lot of things that they don't realize or they don't even think about. It's the age-old saying that I use all the time still is, you don't know what you don't know. And so until these tours happen, a lot of them have no clue about some of the opportunities out there. And so that's what we want these tours to be, is them to learn some of the things they do not know. So hopefully, I think this time we were able to provide it. So.
Yeah. So what's one takeaway from the ACLC tour that you think more people should hear about?
I wrote these and I really still didn't even think of my answer to that, so I probably should have. That's a hard one because it goes back to, I think, everything we've already said, but I think the biggest takeaway is that there's more than one way to do things. A lot of times in agriculture, we hate change. We hate doing something different. But those are my least favorite words of like, oh, well, we've always done it this way. That doesn't matter. Sometimes you do things the same way because it works and it's successful. But sometimes maybe you can change things a little bit and be a little bit more successful. And so I think it's just giving them the opportunity to step away from their operations, to look at other things and to talk to other people, whether they're the producers that we're going to see or not, even if it's the other people in the class. The learning opportunities are there. That's a big piece of ACLC, I think, for them. But just to see that there's more than one right way to do things, I think is one of the biggest things.
It's true.
Yeah, and I just really think that, like, ACLC helps to, like, open the doors because you're able to see the different possibilities and the different options, the different ways you can take your operation and how it can be successful in multiple ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I kind of change it here. I think our sponsors are important too, because Neogen came and talked about one of their products, and John Warman was there, and he was like, "I could really use this. I could really." I mean, that's that's what they have. Like, and then with Farm Credit, and then Preferred Livestock and Boehringer Ingelheim, they're just as important. And Jaron Lehman with Premier. Sorry. Using their products, that they have products that people can use to help their operation get the goal that they want. So,
Yep, and I think just those introductions or that time away from your operation to kind of think about these things or to see it, that's a big piece, a big part of it. And it also would not be possible without those sponsors, and even the Department of Agriculture who sponsors the program. I mean, they all have. There were a lot of people today that left. They're like, I had no clue the Arkansas Department of Agriculture did that much.
Today.
Yeah, that was just today.
In there today. Those are cool. I didn't know those existed. Well, I know they existed, but I have never toured the Department of Ag.
I forget you haven't done that because we don't normally do it this session of ACLC. But we had to rearrange the schedule, and so we were able to do it this session. So, yeah. No, it's amazing.
The labs are cool.
They do a lot of work for the producers of the state of Arkansas, and there's a lot of things that you can take advantage of that most people don't even know. So, yeah. Perfect. Well, I mean, that wraps up ACLC. If you want to see pictures, if you want to read about it, it'll be in the magazine, of course, in the June issue. I need to write that, but it will be in the June issue of the magazine. It'll also be all of our social media, so I encourage you follow along, go and check us out on social media and see that. You can kind of see more about those stops of where we were and be able to see the pictures of these operations and these people and learning and enjoying it. And so before we wrap up, I do want to talk about convention very quickly because we are close to convention, closer than we've been. And so I'm trying to block it out, but we're not. We're almost there. And so we're very excited about convention. Registration will be opening up very soon, like within the next 2 days. And so we're just waiting on a few more things to fall into place. So we will have registration opening soon. Hotels are already available. We will have a grant again that will pay for your convention, your entire convention, if that is hotels and registration. So if you want to go, but it is expensive, we wholeheartedly understand that it is expensive, and so we want to be able to help y'all with that. So we're working again with NCBA on the Ranchers Resilience Grant, and so it's an application-based process. Last year, everybody that applied received it, and it is a reimbursement grant. So if you receive it, you go to convention, you turn in your receipts, you turn in a little sentence or two about what you did and what you learned there, and then they will mail you a check for the amount. I think it's like a fixed amount, a top out. I think it's like $515 or so, but it is live as well on our website, and so you can apply for that. And so very grateful for their team and for that grant to be able to have producers there at convention, because it is a very important part. It is August 8th and 9th in Hot Springs. We are very much looking forward to having you there. We've got some great educational topics. Last week we had Chief Black on the podcast. He will be speaking at convention as well, and so he'll have a session there. We are working on some sessions surrounding ration balancing on a budget. We're looking at disaster proofing your operation. It feels like this year there have been more disasters of natural and or man-made occurring, and so we had a lot of wildfires, we had a lot of tornadoes lately, we've got multiple diseases affecting the state of Arkansas, and so how can we, or potentially affecting the state of Arkansas, knock on some wood down here, but how can we prevent that? And so quite a few, we've got 6 different Cattlemen's colleges happening. We're also going to be hosting the Beef Quiz Bowl Finals, so we're really excited to be working with Arkansas Beef Council and the University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture on that, to be hosting youth contests there at convention this year. We'll have our auction back. We'll have the foundation auction back along with a band. So we're really looking forward to all of convention, our banquet honoring our members and our recruiters. And so really grateful, really excited about it. Please come, register, attend. We would love to have you join us in Hot Springs in August. So that's my plug for convention. We'll talk about it a lot more as we get closer, but I wanted to give that one little plug as we go. But before we wrap up, we want to talk about membership. Because it is almost June. So what does that mean?
If you don't know, our membership year ends June 30th. So third round of renewals hit mailboxes this week. So if you haven't paid, please pay your membership. You can pay it online, send a check or cash to the office, or pay at your county, and they'll send it in to us as well. So, and I also want to mention, we haven't got to mention this before, but like for our May monthly incentive, Allen Gate and Panel is sponsoring it this month. They are giving away 3 hay rings, so all top 3 places will get a hay ring. So really excited about that. Really thankful for Allen Gate and Panel for sponsoring that. So,
yep. And then to get ahead of the curve, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Our June incentive, because next week will be June. So if they can't get them in, then next they have to be postmarked by May 31st. Yep. And so for them to be eligible for the hay ring, so if they can't get them in by May 31st, if they come in June, what are they working towards?
So June is unique. So we're only given one first place prize, and that is a Wiley sprayer. Four-wheeler sprayer you hook on the back of your four-wheeler. That is sponsored by Ross Rogers Equipment. So thankful for them, and they're actually going to bring that to convention. So whoever wins that, come to convention and get your sprayer. So. Yeah.
Yep. So really excited, really grateful again to our sponsors for being able to help us provide tangible gifts, tangible thank yous to our members. Always remind y'all about the Top Hand Club. So if y'all recruit 15 new members or 30 renewals, you're eligible for the Top Hand Club. You have your choice of a custom belt buckle, a jacket, or a half-price convention registration. And so those are your 3 options there. And then along with it, we also now have recruiter rewards. So even if you recruit 1 member, you're still going to be getting something from the Cattlemen's, because every membership counts. And so you have until from now until June 30th to get those in. They have to be postmarked by June 30th. And so if you have questions about where you stand for any of these prizes, you can reach out to Nora Lee, and she'll be able to provide you with a list of unpaid members for your county, if you're a county officer, or be able to let you know specific people if you have questions, if they're paid or not, or even just let you know how many people you've recruited so you can know where you stand, and maybe how close you are to top hand or the gloves or the license plate or whatever it might be. So we're grateful for everyone that's been recruiting already, but definitely encourage you. There's still time left. So.
Yep. And a lot of people asking about our membership numbers. We are at 66 or 67% of last year's numbers. So pretty steadily. I'm hoping we get a lot more in with our third round of mailings. So.
Yep.
So thankful for each one of y'all's memberships. I want to say thank y'all to everybody who's paid their membership, but we really do appreciate it.
Yep, for sure. As a membership organization, we only exist because of y'all. And so we are grateful for that. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't paid your membership, like she said, feel free to reach out, call us, pay it online, whatever we can to help. If you have issues, if you have questions, let us know. We're here. That's what we're here for. And so we are excited to be wrapping up membership drive. Excited about where we stand. Yeah, it's down a little bit. That was expected. But I mean, even historically, I think this time of year we were only at about 74% maybe. And so we're down a little bit, but we also had our a little bit different renewal mailing system this time. So that third round of renewals just hit. And so we will be seeing hopefully quite a few memberships come in. So with that, we appreciate it. We appreciate your membership. We appreciate you tuning in. We're going to let Nora Lee do our normal how to find us, what to do.
Always. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Always subscribe to us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Like we said, we're going to post about ACLC, what's going on at the federal level. I know I posted a story today. The RFD-TV posted, shared it. So, and a lot of different things. I know Department of Ag, they shared our podcast from last week. So, always follow us for updates like that. And then our newsletter, national industry updates, what's going on with screwworm, federal updates, all the things, what's going on. So.
And if you're watching online, you're seeing me pull my phone out because I just remembered. We have a little over a week left. If you are a college student, if you are a high school student, if you are the parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, friend, whatever it may be, of one of those students, the majority of the Cattlemen scholarships close on June the 1st, which is not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And so if your student is interested in applying for those, please go online, encourage them to apply. All the applications are online this year. And so we've got 6-ish different scholarships there for them to apply for. So you've got a week and some change to do that. And so I encourage you or your family member or your student to go ahead and do that ahead of schedule. And so that way we can make sure we have it. It'll be all online. Fill it out. And we'll pass it on to those scholarship committees. And so you'll know in time for convention to come in and accept those scholarships if chosen. But please encourage people to apply and apply yourself if you're a college or high school student. There's a lot of different requirements, a lot of different eligibility, and so it's not just high school seniors and it's not just animal science students. So quite a few opportunities there. So I encourage you to check that out on our website.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, we appreciate you tuning in. We thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you back next week with more information.
See y'all later. This is the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast, your trusted source for all things cattle in the natural state.